Good morning and welcome. I am Mandy Mahoney, and I'm thrilled to welcome you here today to our plenary session, Sustainability and Hot Water Heating. I am with the Regulatory Assistance Project. I've recently joined as the U.S. Program Director, and I'm thrilled to be your moderator today. First and foremost, I want to thank our sponsors. We saw them in the short video, but I also want to recognize our platinum sponsors today, Ream and A.O. Smith. And we have Karen and Josh with us who will be speaking on behalf of those organizations. So Karen and Josh, thank you and your organizations for your incredible support of ACEEE. So a couple other housekeeping items. We have a chat box. We ask you to use that. It's on the right-hand side of your screen. And that's how you will submit questions that I will then use to support the discussion we have after the presentations are made. And if you don't get your questions in, there will be 20 minutes at the end in which we will have an open session for discussion. So the Zoom link is posted on the audience screen at the very bottom. We ask that you refrain from using chat for any dialogue other than asking questions. Also, on the left-hand side of the app, you'll see other tabs. From there, you can network with attendees and program attendants, visit sponsor pages, and engage in our game to possibly win a free registration for this meeting next year, the 2023 Hot Water Forum. It is going to be in Mission Hills, California. So also check out the resources section that's included in the program, where you'll find a list of attendees that you can download. Lastly, we ask everyone to please help in planning next year's Hot Water Forum by completing the conference evaluation. And everyone who completes the evaluation and includes a testimonial, you will receive $25 off your registration for next year's session. So your input will help the staff of ACEEE figure out how to make next year even better. So we thank you for your time. All the presentations that you've been able to see or might have missed but would like to see will be available for on-demand viewing to registered attendees on this platform within a few days, and they will be available for viewing through the month of May. The slides of the presenters will also be found on the program's participation section. So if you didn't get all that, let the ACEEE staff know, and we'll be glad to help you so that you can get the most out of this conference experience. Before we dive into the meat of today, though, we have a special guest. Amber, welcome.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Hi, I'm Amber Wood. I'm the Buildings Program Director at ACEEE. Thank you all very much for joining the third day of the Hot Water Forum. We hope that you enjoy it. And before we get into the plenary session, I am actually also joined by Kim Katz from the Consortium for Energy Efficiency to talk a little bit about the Integrated Home Competition.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for inviting me here today. I'm here to invite you to enter the 2022 Integrated Home Competition and submit your connected products for recognition. The CE Integrated Home vision is of a connected, grid-interactive, efficient home where all the systems inside work seamlessly together to optimize consumer amenity and utility benefit. And obviously, connected water heaters are an integral part of this vision. And so we're seeking new and innovative products that can contribute to this interactive, efficient home. And in return, we'll reward your leadership by promoting solutions that demonstrate interoperability, reliability, and simplicity. We have a really great group of sponsors, including ACEEE, who have helped to make this happen, including a variety of CEE member utilities and trade associations like AHRI and Hardy, who really make this possible. In 2021, that was the first year we accepted connected water heating solutions, and I'm proud to say that we recognized 2 winning water heater solutions, and I hope that if you enter this year, we'll be able to recognize your products as well. If you're planning to enter this year, our deadline is April 8th, and that's just to begin your submission. So to get us, product description, your contact information, and then you'll have a little bit more time to complete all of the detailed information that the judges will need to review and submit a video for consideration. And then we'll be promoting the winners next fall. Our evaluation criteria, as you might expect, we've got energy efficiency and greenhouse gas emissions reduction at the top, along with connected functionality and load management. But we really try and bring together a diverse group of folks to evaluate these products holistically and look at each product on its own merits. So we've got a wide range of products that are included in the competition, but you can rest assured that your water heater is not being compared against, say, the lighting products pictured here. If you win the competition, we've got a lot of benefits. We'll have award ceremonies at appropriate industry events like the AHR Expo and the Hot Water Forum, promotion at CEE meetings, product pages on our website, press releases and social media recognition, both by CEE and the other competition sponsors. You'll have access to winner badges for your online or product packaging materials, and we'll provide some other printed and digital materials. So if all that's convinced you and you're ready to enter, please visit our website or reach out to me, Kim, at competition@cee1.org with any questions. And please plan to submit by April 8th. We're really excited and hope to award more water heater products this year. Thanks, Amber. Back to you.
Thank you. And actually now on to the plenary session. Thanks, everybody.
Kim, that is fabulous. I would like to offer my home to test out any of your applicants. We have solar on our house that is sized for our maximum load, but the part of our load that we cannot figure out how to shift right now is our water heating load, because my son, who's 8, is in school during the day, and so that child has got to take a shower at night. And so we watched it spike on our energy meter, and my husband and I would really like to be able to shift our water heating load. So we are willing to be your guinea pigs. So I'm excited now that we'll get to hear more from 2 outstanding experts about what they're doing to drive sustainability at the corporate level and support continued innovation in our field. So we have 2 people that I just have tremendous respect for with us today. Karen Myers, who's the VP of Government Affairs at Rheem Manufacturing, and she's also the chair of the Alliance for Responsible Atmospheric Policy. Karen is based in Arkansas. Rheem's headquarters is actually Atlanta, where I live, but she's coming to us today from DC. And we also have Josh Green, who's the Corporate Vice President of Government and Industry Affairs for A.O. Smith. And my fun fact about Josh is that he has given me a tour of a water heating manufacturing plant in one of their plants outside of Nashville. And it was really cool to get to see all the different innovative products that companies like A.O. Smith are producing. So thank you for that time a few years ago, Josh. So Josh, you're going to be starting us out today. So I believe that our super technical whiz folks are going to bring you on the screen now, and I'll turn it over to you.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Mandy. And another shout out to ACEEE, the tremendous staff and the programming for, once again, a successful Hot Water Forum. We did hear a little earlier, sorry, ACEEE to steal the thunder, that we have record attendance and registrants for this forum, apropos of all of the things that are going on in our industry. The content has been fantastic from those that have been participating, and we're really looking forward to next year. We're going to have to figure out how to top it. So I'm going to have some assistance from my friends at ACEEE related to my slides as we move through here, and we look forward to the discussion moving forward. So next slide, please. So A.O. Smith, our vision, commitment, and our journey. A.O. Smith started its journey actually on what we now call corporate responsibility, sustainability, environmental social governance over 100 years ago, when the Smith family started the company in 1874 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where we are still globally headquartered. and laid down a series of values and guiding principles by which our company continues to operate, approaching our 148th year of doing business. And one of those values is being a good corporate citizen. And that has lots of permutations, but as we think about sustainability and corporate responsibility, and certainly A.O. Smith as a publicly traded S&P 500 company here on the New York Stock Exchange, we take this commitment very seriously, as well as our continuing journey along these lines. Next slide. So consistent with that, one of the things that we did last year, and consistent with a theme of the Hot Water Forum this year, and we will probably continue to see this moving forward, is we dove in headfirst relating to building decarbonization and electrification strategies. And again, under the umbrella of being a good corporate citizen, we developed and still have in the works a next iteration of an analytical tool that can help policymakers, wherever they may be, in evaluating the efficacy of the policies for the built environment, including building decarbonization policies, to see if they're ultimately going to be effective. And this has led to the issuance of a white paper that we published last fall. You can download that on our website, aosmith.com/decarbonization. And I would urge folks to read the paper and get familiar with some of its findings. But our purpose here was really to be a resource, and as a leader in the industry and a publicly traded company in our space, we decided that it made sense to come out with a public position relating to building decarb. And at this point, A.O. Smith is a supporter of pragmatic building decarbonization policies because, as we will get into momentarily, we do recognize not only our operational commitment to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but we also recognize that our products play a key role in furthering to decarbonize the built environment. Next slide, please. So our products, it's something that obviously we spend a lot of time on. We have been relentlessly innovating over our 100 and soon 48th year of history. And of course, A.O. Smith, while most folks today certainly recognize us in the water heating space, and we've been doing that for decades, 100 years, matter of fact. We also have another side of our business that looks at water treatment. So we think of ourselves as a global water technology company that makes products that both heat and treat water. So as we kind of continue the program today, you'll hear both about our water heating products, but also our water treatment products and how those fall under our umbrella of sustainability. We also I'll talk about our people. We have approximately 14,000 employees around the world, 12 different countries. We do business in 60 different countries, and we take engineering and innovation very seriously with approximately 750 engineers around the world, and as well as our robust commitment to our R&D. Next slide, please. So again, on our products, and pictured here is one of our Voltex heat pump water heaters, and I know heat pump water heaters certainly have been a topic of I don't know how many different tracks at the Hot Water Forum over the last 2 days. But in the end, these are products that save a significant amount of energy. They also help to avoid a significant amount of greenhouse gas emissions. Many of these statistics we have incorporated into our CRS report, which also can be viewed and downloaded on aosmith.com. But we take this very seriously, both here in the United States, but also high efficiency products that can help avoid greenhouse gas emissions in other countries in which we do business, both in China and in India and many other companies. And we're going to continue to innovate because we know that our products play a key role in not only efficiency, but also avoiding greenhouse gas emissions. Next slide. So when it comes to our products, we look at them through their life cycle. So this is about, on our water treatment side, how many, for example, plastic bottles of water that can be avoided. We just discussed kind of avoided CO2 emissions on the water heating side. Again, on our water treatment products, reverse osmosis technology for point of use and point of entry. These are our products and our main product category groups. So it's really kind of where you ultimately consume water. And our technology innovation on membranes related to our water treatment products also save water. And in certain parts of the world, as many of you probably can appreciate, water efficiency and water scarcity come hand in hand. So these products not only are going to help consumers, but they also will help a variety of environmental externalities. And that is extremely important to us, as well as the recycled content that we use in some of our products. We're always trying to innovate. We're always trying new ideas to see how much content that we can reuse, right, in a kind of circular economy rubric, so that our products can actually have a lower carbon footprint. Next slide. So another important value at A.O. Smith is that A.O. Smith will be a good place to work. And under that rubric, empowering our employees, helping them succeed, as well as drive shareholder value is extremely important. And that's both from a diverse and inclusive workforce, of which we continue to evolve, but also a highly engaged one. We're very proud of the fact that our employees around the world are very engaged and very enthusiastic about what they are doing on a day-to-day basis. And we, in turn, as a corporation, make those human capital investments a priority. Salaried employees at A.O. Smith all have development plans to make us better employees, make us better colleagues, and certainly provide value to the company. We're also very proud of our evolving workforce related to gender diversity around the world. And that just continues to grow, and the aspirational goals that we have in that regard are terrific. And then at the end of the day, our human capital strategy is very important because, look, we make great products. We're doing what we need to do as a corporation, but who we are is us. And we have to never lose sight of the fact that making investments in our employees is really what makes A.O. Smith go at the end of the day. So can't stress the great work that our workforce and our HR teams around the world do daily to make all A.O. Smith employees better people, better employees, and add shareholder value. Next slide. So finally, and this is again in our CRS report and on our website that you can find, we do make sure that our employees are safe, aligned with ISO standards. We also continuously are trying to improve our operational efficiency. We do have a public commitment to reduce our Scope 1 and Scope 2 greenhouse gas emissions by 10% by 2025. That's on an enterprise-wide basis. But one of the things, and going back to what I had mentioned earlier in our presentation, is those values that the Smith family handed down to us over 140 years ago. And environmental stewardship and part of being a good corporate citizen was very important to the Smith family and continues to be very important. And in this regard, we were doing things related to sustainability, well, what's called sustainability today, decades before there were requirements or what we kind of contemplate in that regard. And we've had a Green Star Award, our chairman's Green Star Award, that goes to facilities that cut electrical use, cut energy intensity, reduce water usage, what have you. And that spans back over 40, 50 years. And we're just evolving in that regard. So we've come a long way. We're continuing our journey, but we're excited. And our customers are excited to what the future may hold. So again, paying forward, Making sure that we're mitigating risk is key, certainly as a publicly traded company, and we're excited for the future. And I believe that is my last slide. Yes. So thanks again, Mandy, and we'll turn it back to you.
Wonderful. And now we have Karen Myers, and Karen is with Ream. And welcome, Karen. I will turn it to you for your presentation.
Great, thank you. Water Forum. And so we'll just dive right into it. So next slide, please. First of all, some fast facts about Ream. We do business in over 88 countries. We have over 22 manufacturing plants across the globe. And we have over 40 global brands in air and water. Ream is the only North American manufacturer that manufactures commercial refrigeration products, air conditioning products, and space and water heating products. And we have over 11,000 employees. And we are almost 100 years old. We will turn 100 in 2025. And as I walk through this presentation, you will see that a lot of our key sustainability goals are based upon that 100th year birth date. So next slide, please. So here's good by the numbers. Here's a lot of where we are and where we have what we have achieved in our goals, but we'll really get into more of the details as we walk through. So let's go to the next slide, please. So first of all, since launching our Greater Degree of Good initiative in 2019, we have been busy reimagining how we design, manufacture, deliver, and support our products. Our Greater Degree of Good initiative is based upon three key pillars. First of all, the first pillar is degrees of innovation, and that's really about our products. It's about launching a line of heating, cooling, and water heater products that will boast a 50% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. And the second degree is degrees of efficiencies. And this is really about our processes and our manufacturing processes. Our goal by 2025 is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 50% and achieve zero waste to landfill in our global manufacturing operation. And finally, the third pillar is degrees of leadership. And this is where we have committed to train over 250,000 plumbers, contractors, and key influencers on sustainable products, sustainable installation, and recycling best practices. We'll dive into these a little bit more. So next slide, please. And I really want to dive into these by showing you where we are at the end of 2021. So next slide, please, and we'll look at our project at each one of these pillars and where we are from when we launched in 2019 and our journey to get to our 2025 goals. So as you're all very aware of the looming climate crisis, the global pandemic, and the need for greater indoor air quality, these are all challenges which have unleashed innovation at Ream. And we are really leading the development of next generation products to not only meet upcoming regulations, but to achieve long-term sustainability and environmental outcomes. For example, Ream U.S. water heating products sold since 2019 avoided almost 9 million tons of CO2 emissions. That's the equivalent of 1.9 million cars taken off the road in a year. Ream's largest impact towards our sustainability future is through our product innovation. We are really passionate about making it easier for the end user to select products with the latest eco-friendly innovations. That is why Ream is focused on launching a line of heating, cooling, and water heating products that boast that 50% reduction in greenhouse gas footprint. We also remain committed to accelerating our global investments in renewable energy water heating. Heat pumps, solar, and thermal batteries are all key focus areas of our innovation. And as you can see from the screen, in 2021, the REAM U.S. water heater team remained focused on areas such as our sustainability standout seal. This is a logo that will be on our products. It will be a designation that will make it easier for customers and professionals to find the best of the best among our sustainability product offerings. We have also developed a CO2 reduction level sticker and that we will place on our products as well. Since our products can have a large environmental impact, we have the responsibility to build sustainability into every phase of our product design. And to help minimize the environmental impact of our products, we launched a global air and water decarbonization initiative in 2020. We remain committed to developing water heater products that use alternatives to fossil fuels and to reduce carbon emissions. One technology, heat pumps, which you've heard a lot about, is particularly important to these efforts. In fact, REAM was the first to market with the industry's most efficient hybrid electric water heater. It's called the Proterra, and it's Energy Star rated with a UEF of 4.0. It's our top-of-the-line water heater that saves homeowners money. And because the system requires minimal power to operate, its carbon footprint is the lowest in its class. Next, we are integrating sustainability into our product development process. In fact, did you know that more than 80% of the lifetime impacts of a product are set in the product development process plan? So to really address sustainability, we host interactive meetings with our extended product team at the start of a product development plan to ideate on sustainable improvements in all products. Next slide. So responsible processes, that's that second tier. And our fundamental pillar in our 2025 sustainability commitment on the responsible process is that we are going to continue to make progress towards meeting this goal. In fact, we are on track to cut our greenhouse gas emissions in half in our manufacturing operations ahead of the requirements of many governments around the world. From the moment that we set our greenhouse gas reduction goals, we've been working to reduce our total greenhouse gas emissions in our manufacturing operations by 50% as compared to our baseline of 2018. This includes directing emissions from owned or controlled sources, indirect emissions from the generations of purchased energy, and indirect emissions that occur in value chain and include upstream and downstream activities. Additionally, to promote shared learning on our process improvements, we have built a greenhouse gas inventory database. We've streamlined our greenhouse gas global data collection by training employees called Good Works Ambassadors to report, and we've developed a sustainability portal. We've launched quarterly meetings with our global greenhouse gas leads to share our progress and best practices. And we've also kicked off life cycle assessment project to generate insights on the entire lifetime impact of our products. As you can see, we take greenhouse gas emission reduction very seriously, from strategically selecting our energy partners to exploring internal and renewable generation to simply reducing our delivered per unit consumption. Next slide. So the third pillar is our responsible processes. This is ZWTL. This is a term that you'll see a lot. It's zero waste to landfill, and that remains more than a goal. It's a promise that we will engage in responsible use of resources to ensure that we consume only what we need and make the most of everything that we have. As we travel our path to our 2025 commitments, we're seeing a clearer picture of what zero waste to landfill truly means. We define it as 97% of our non-hazardous solid waste away from landfills and incinerators, with up to 7% of that processed with waste to energy technology. In 2021, we accomplished multiple sites going to the Go Zero program. We implemented quarterly meetings with global zero waste to landfill leads to share our progress, and we created zero waste to landfill expanded strategy. These are really just a few of the many ways our sites are delivering waste and avoiding creating it in the first place across the globe. Next slide. So Inspired People, this was launched in 2021. It's called our Good Works program, and it promotes sustainability, engagement, alignment, and accountability with our employees across the globe. The platform gives our employees a platform to make a difference inside our company and around the world. The Good Works program has allowed us to really infuse the passion for sustainability into Ream's DNA, and this starts with our people. A few of the team's notable accomplishments include training templates with new product sustainability elements, such as the Sustainability Standout Seal and the CO2 Reduction Level Seals. And we've added a new stream of commercial sustainability training. All of our team's passionate drive towards our goals is what positions us to deliver our goals ahead of the target, which is why our goal is to train 250,000 key plumbers, contractors, and influencers by 2025 in the areas of sustainable products, sustainable best practices, including installation, servicing, and end-of-life recycling. Ream's overarching sustainability goals and vision on sustainability can elevate their business as well. We are well on our way to meeting our 250,000 trained plumber goal by the end, ahead of our target. And in fact, we think we'll reach that in 2024. Next slide, please. With the first 3 years of a greater degree of good initiative behind us and 3 short years ahead of us to achieve our goals and commitments, we have a clear picture of how far we've come in a strategic plan for where to go next. The work isn't finished yet. As we look ahead to 2025, Ream's 100th anniversary, there will be more and more aggressive goals to meet, and our people at Ream will power the innovations to get it done. For all of us attending this forum across the industry as leaders in sustainability, we have no choice but to lead the path for future generations to come. They are counting on us to make a difference. And the next slide, which I think is my last. This is our global family of brands, and you can visit ream.com/sustainability to learn more about our commitment to sustainability. So thank you all for allowing me to talk about Ream's sustainability program, and I will turn it back to you, Mandy. Thanks.
Super. Thank you, Karen. I'll let's get the logistics of this session. Great. So we have about 25 minutes, and thank you to the folks who have put questions in the chat, or not in the chat, but in the question section on the right-hand side. That's where we will be sourcing the questions from. Please continue to add them, and I will be monitoring that as we have the discussion. And we will get to all the questions. So what was so interesting to me, Josh and Karen, as I was listening, was thinking back to the last 20 years. Yeah, I was the first sustainability director for the city of Atlanta. And at that point, it was when this whole concept of what is sustainability, how do we operationalize it from the inside to see it manifest on the outside was just in the early days. And so it's really cool to see how transformative the work has been, and how each of y'all's organizations are, the vision you've put towards it, and how deeply interwoven it is throughout the organization. So, kudos to y'all. And it also makes me realize where we've been in the last 20 years was very different than where I think, if you would have asked me in 2005 where we would be now. And that's going to be the same case for the next 20 years. We're going to continue to see robust evolution in both what the world needs and what our stakeholders or customers are putting on you. And so I look forward to getting into that now. I want to knock out, though, a couple specific detailed questions that were related to your presentations before we go to the more big picture philosophical discussion. And one of a consistent question was, are each of your organizations developing gas storage water heaters or gas heat pump water heaters? And one question specifically is, are you developing a residential Energy Star non-condensing and non-powered vented gas storage water heater? So I would love if both of you could answer those questions. Let me know if you want me to repeat it. Josh, you want to take it first?
Sure. So 3 questions in one. So let's knock out the technologies.
Yeah.
Certainly from a gas storage basis, we obviously have non-condensing atmospheric product now. We do have damper products. So as it relates specifically to the development of what I heard the question at least was a non-condensing, non-damper. That's not necessarily in our product roadmap, considering that evolving minimum efficiency standards from the Federal Department of Energy are coming in the next round of rulemaking, which is NACA 4. So the answer to that is no from us. On gas heat pump, we have been looking at gas heat pump technology for the better part of a decade with different partners. The product in and of itself is becoming potentially more commercialized by some smaller manufacturers that, again, we've been in consultation with, and we've done research with DOE and some other gas utilities. So we're still evaluating the particular product in terms of widespread commercial market availability as well as applications. So that's where we are right now on that particular technology. And as things evolve, we'll continue to evaluate.
Thank you. Karen.
Yeah, so pretty much the very same answer that Josh gave. We're kind of on the same path. On the gas heat pump water heater, heat pump water heaters that have gas backup, we kind of call those hybrids or dual fuel heat pumps. We think that's actually an interesting technology. We see it being used across Europe quite a bit, because it's a way that you can get into heat pump technology maybe a little bit ahead of when all the grids may be ready, because essentially what it will do is function as a heat pump until those very coldest days, and you turn on gas to help it at the end. And it uses about 80% less gas than a gas water heater alone. So you're getting kind of the best of the best. You're reducing gas usage by 80%. You're only using it in extreme climates, and then your water heater is functioning as a traditional heat pump for the majority of the time. So we think it's an interesting technology. We've seen its success in portions of Europe, and so we are evaluating that and whether it makes sense to move forward with a product that's more specific to North America.
Terrific. We have one more detailed question, and that is, how long might it take to develop and implement/use lower GWP refrigerants in heat pump water heaters?
Karen gets to go first.
Yeah, so because we are also in the air conditioning business, using low GWP refrigerants is something that we are familiar with. We're getting ready to launch our entire HVAC with low GWP refrigerants, and so there's a lot of nuances with doing that. Sometimes it requires updates to building codes to be able to use these refrigerants in water heating products. So it's more complicated than just designing a product. But we do think that as we start to increase efficiencies and the move to more heat pump products as part of the decarbonization efforts across the globe, that there is going to be a need to reduce the GWP of refrigerants used in the majority of heat pump water heaters today.
So, I would answer the following way, and I do want to give Karen some recognition here. And you had mentioned that Karen is chairing the alliance, which does a lot of work related to HFCs and low GWP refrigerants, amongst other things. So we thank her for her leadership of that alliance and Ream's work in that regard. Look, at the end of the day, there is a global framework, certainly as Karen knows all too well, that's regulating the phase down, right, of HFCs to lower GWP refrigerants. So that's the Montreal Protocol. And then, of course, there was legislation that Karen was very active in, as well as our trade association, AHRI, amongst others, the AIM Act, which complemented what's called the Kigali Amendment for that eventual phase down. And what we're seeing in the regulatory space, both in California, amongst other states, is a continuing push to have lower GWP, as well as what are called natural refrigerants, used for certainly space heating and cooling, but also water heating. We are going to have a product, our 120 volt plug-in product later this fall. We'll have a low GWP refrigerant. We can talk about numbers, but the broader and more direct question here, direct answer rather to the question is yes. Over time, in the not too distant future, heat pump water heaters will be using lower GWP refrigerants. So it's really more about where products are now. But our product road mapping suggests that lower GWP refrigerants are certainly doable within the decade. But that also has to be managed as well. As Karen knows all too well, we are not the manufacturers of those refrigerants. So we rely on others and a robust marketplace in terms of pricing, availability, amongst other things.
Thank you both. And then staying in this, like, what are the needs for this evolution? We also received a question, what the training needs you are seeing are out there to transition to heat pump water heaters.
Do you want to go first this time, Josh, or it doesn't matter?
No, we'll probably say very similar things, and kudos to Ream as it relates to its sustainability initiatives and training plumbers and that goal that it has. But one of the things that we've been dialoguing with both policymakers and regulators on both coasts and as well as internationally is workforce training certainly on refrigerants in particular. But workforce training related to the installation, certainly of heat pump water heaters and quality installations, which our contractors do, and just like Ream's contractors do. But we need more of them. One of the things, again, that I get a lot of questions about related to heat pump water heaters and building decarbonization, moreover, is in order to meet, and depending on what jurisdiction you're in, these robust market transformation goals, what are the multiple kind of parallel paths? And yes, we can talk about product, right? We can talk about availability, pricing, cost, et cetera. But one of those tracks is more trained, highly trained workforce. So, we're doing our part at A.O. Smith University with our contractor networks and getting more contractors up to speed on heat pump water heaters and their installation. But this is definitely something that, as a stakeholder, one stakeholder in industry, collectively, we need to be doing more.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as we try and recruit more people into this field, we need a lot more plumbers. We need a lot more young people taking up this field. This needs to be taught from the trade schools on up. It's an exciting field. It's different technology than most plumbers are used to, and so training is very important. It's imperative. I think everyone in the industry is very aligned on this. we put a lot of resources into training, as I shared during the sustainability presentation. A.O. Smith and others in the industry are doing the same. So it's going to take quite a bit of training, and we can't accomplish these building decarbonization goals unless we have a workforce that is knowledgeable in how to install and maintain these products.
Are either of you aware, does the infrastructure bill have funding to support workforce in this area?
The Build Back Better program, is that what you're talking about?
Or the IIJA?
IIJA.
Oh.
I don't, so we have to look
so.
specifically, but I don't recall a specific carve out for our industry per se. There is workforce money in there that's geared towards broader public works infrastructure for sure. But we're working at the federal level as well as the state and local level. I say we collectively, our industry and Karen and I, where there are programs and legislation and funding that we can get for workforce training, we're supporting.
There's also, following up on this, a gentleman in the chat asked, what sort of recruitment of high school students is the industry doing?
Well, I'm not aware of anything specifically at the industry level, but I know at REAM, we encourage plumbers, our plumbers, to go and talk to junior high and high school people as part of their community outreach programs to help, and we give them tools to help do that. Our lead trainer shared a story with me just a couple of weeks ago about how he went and talked to a bunch of 8th graders about entering the water heating field, and he did a little show and tell. And he said it was something tangible that they could grasp. They could see the water heater, they could touch it, versus maybe some of your traditional school tracks where 8th graders really haven't yet developed the concept of becoming an economist or something like that. This was actually something physical and he just said, this is something that we as an industry probably need to do more of, because if you can hook them in early, they can see it, they can touch it. It's a way to generate more interest into moving into this field.
I would echo certainly from an industry perspective, but from an AO and Karen's response there, but from AO Smith's perspective, we participate in lots of different programs at the local level where we have operations. We have wonderful employees that obviously do their own engagement as well, but we do have manufacturing days at our facilities that bring in high schoolers and middle schoolers to, again, Karen hit on it, to touch, feel, walk, see the products, and certainly not only the manufacturing of them, but their utility, and growing an interest perhaps in engineering and manufacturing careers. One of the things we'll continue to evolve on are more specific kind of training, potentially for high schoolers. We have to be careful, right? State by state, different laws, regulations about what one can do with minors at your facilities. But at the end of the day, being able to do, and maybe using our A.O. Smith University, is something we've been thinking about virtually, to connect with STEM students amongst others, because I concur with Karen's remarks here that the younger we can get folks and children interested in engineering careers, the better. And if it fits with where they are and what they may want to do, terrific. But we definitely need to do more in that regard.
Great.
Thank y'all. Yeah, this is very personal to me right now. We have a dear friend who's a senior in high school, and his parents see that he's aligned for technical school. My experience of this child is it would be great for him, but he's seeing all of his friends. He's in public school here in Atlanta, that they're all going to a more traditional liberal arts school. And so he's feeling that pull of being like his peers, because in high school, that's all that matters, your peers. And I think, so what my husband has been trying to do is ground him in how awesome it can be to do the technical, and how you can achieve just as much as what the school system has programmed you to believe that white collar work is. So I'm hopeful we can get him to choose the path of the trade that I can tell is on his heart. I think that the work you are doing is critical, and we as a society, it's a much larger conversation that we've got to deal with.
Agree. Maybe we need some social media influencers to help us in that regard.
Exactly. Are you one of those people, Josh?
Oh no.
That's you, Mandy.
Yeah.
You got the youngest. You got the
Yeah,
youngest one,
definitely.
probably of us, by the way, Mandy, as far as children are concerned. So there's another opportunity. So
Yes. Awesome. Well, we've only got about 8 minutes, so I'm looking at the screen. Let's shift to some of the questions that the three of us brainstormed before. There's so many fun ones. I think that I want to talk about energy policy, though, because I'm a policy wonk at the end of the day. So how can y'all talk about how you see that water heating connects with the overarching energy policy that we're trying to drive forward?
In 8 minutes or less, Karen, what do you think?
Oh, wow. We could talk forever on this. I mean, of course, it's closely connected. There's going to be significant energy demand over the next, several decades. And with that is going to become those associated emissions. And so having a robust product portfolio is very, very important. Keeping up the dialogue. Josh knows that I like to sometimes pull my hair out when we have conflicting regulations, energy policy pushing us one way and regulations pushing us another way that may not always work together. And so, it's got to be smart. It's got to be practical. And I think, I don't want to speak for Josh, but I have a feeling that he spends as much time as I do, if not even more, trying to talk to regulators about the practical parts of regulations and what we need as OEMs and how their proposals affect the sale of our products, the installation of our products, et cetera. So it's something that's just going to require a lot of ongoing dialogue and trying to find a clear path that gives line of certainty so we can all achieve a win-win in this area.
So I would concur with Karen. Of course, looking at the top of my head, I don't know. Maybe I've been defeated because Karen still has her hair, but I don't in that regard. But apropos of in our presentation, the reference to the white paper that we published and the findings there, we know that our products have a role in certainly energy policy more broadly, but certainly as we continue building decarbonization and decarbonization of the economy. But other sectors have their part to play too. And we're hoping that great strides are made in those sectors. But similar thematic of business certainty is what's most important to us, certainly as a global manufacturer, but I would venture to say any manufacturer in that regard. But given our product road mapping, our engineering cycles, et cetera, business certainty is important. Knowing what at least the rules of the road are going to be for the minimum of the next 5, if not 10 years, is important so that we can put our capital to work and we can focus on what we need to be doing related to not only our customer, and voice of the customer at A.O. Smith is extremely important, but where our products are going to be able to play a larger part in energy policy. So business certainty and getting rules of the road, pragmatic pathways, those are things we should be working on and continue to discuss in dialogue, not ad nauseum. We want to get to some conclusions, right? But that's kind of how we see things.
Thank you both. And that is all the time we have today. I want to honor a couple last things in the chat. There's been a request for y'all to share your greenhouse gas emissions report. I'm not sure how you'll do that, but ACEEE staff, there's been a request for both of their GHG reports. And then also there was a shout out wanting to make sure everyone was aware of the North American Gas Heat Pump Collaborative. So thank y'all for your time, your engagement. Thank you to everyone who gave us questions for this discussion. It was terrific to have the audience's engagement to help us have this robust conversation today. Please do check out the resources of the conference through the platform for the to engage with other participants, as well as to access the presentations and the presenter slides from this. They will be available to registered attendees through the month of May. So may you all have a wonderful day. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, your companies, for your sponsorship and support of ACEEE. Take care.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.